Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik, and this is a game War in the Pacific Admiral's Edition. This is my play by email match against KilRoy. He commands Allied forces, and for me it is the Empire of Japan. This is scenario 1, no modifications, standard 1-day turn setup. We arrived at the 4th March 1942. In the last couple of I think the last 2 or 3 days we had some engagement around Wake. You can see here my cruisers. I forgot to unload my invasion troops on Wake, so I try this now. So now we have here the pre-invasion attack and this have some more success to disable the garrison. And now my Navy Guard unit storms the beach. And again, for all kind of invasion against enemy bases, Navy Guard units, I think, they simply suffer less amphibious assault losses. So they are normally the number 1 units I would use for this kind of activity. Army units, tanks can also be used, but they simply suffer higher losses for this kind of operations. If you maybe don't have this 100% preparation bonus. But there are so many factors in this game. And for the Japanese, time is always the biggest enemy. And it looks like last turn I think the Prince of Wales already go down. Now Repulse gets 2 more torpedo hits. I think these are now already in total 6 torpedo hits on Repulse. And now it's finally also sinking. So Prince of Wales and Repulse both are out of the game now. Other day, other position. But the fate was similar. Always sunk by torpedoes. Air and submarine torpedoes. And again, I talked with KilRoy and he told me that of course this was a misclick from his side. He would normally go in, make a bombardment and run out. But gave the wrong order. And but he accepted this and say he don't want to replay the turn because he was already lucky that he was getting out his ships at the beginning of the war. Good. Here is now a small engagement between 4 of my destroyers against 2 maybe AMs. I'm not so sure. We will see. Corvettes. Okay. So these are Canadian corvettes. And they are really anti-submarine only vessels. So they have no chance against the Japanese destroyers. This will be a little easy kill for me. But it's important for me to take them out. This is also at Wake. So because I have here so many submarines aggressively hunting, that KilRoy say, okay, he take his Canadian corvettes, he gets to simply hunt for the submarines, but he can maybe come too close. And now I attack Wake. I attack Wake very late maybe in the game, and this was maybe one of the reasons why he not was aware of this. But I catch them. This will help to keep my submarine operations maybe more active in the long run. Not that 2 corvettes are really a lot. Maybe in 42 they will be missed for KilRoy, but latest in 43, 44. And maybe the daily production of 1 corvette for each week. Then this is nothing more. My Oscars 1Bs are still in action. I had normally the hope to retire them earlier, but they are still okay, maybe. But sooner or later I really kick them out. And then I still use the airframe for training. But there are so many key 27s already in a stockpile that normally I have enough airframes for training. I don't have enough army air wings. I have enough pilots. I have more or less enough airframes, but I don't have enough air groups, air wings. With the Navy, you can always normally recreate them and make them bigger, but with the Army, that is not possible. Good. So again, I get the victory out of this, maybe losing one of my own. Next sweep over Rangoon. So KilRoy was able to bring back some of his Flying Tigers out of damage. And also some Hurricanes are already arriving. And some damage for the British division here. And the Russian Chinese bombers are back without escort and now attacking my ground forces. I have here a little more long range cap, so I can get rid of most of them. So we will see 8 are striking, and this is long range attack. So now the Wildcats attacking me again. It was able to hit one of my cargo ships. And I think this is I don't know, it's maybe it's on purpose wrong, but this Wildcat get a flak damage. But here is written 20,000 feet horizontal attack. I'm not sure how this works together, how the Japanese flag can... I mean, this is a destroyer and this is maybe a dual purpose heavy 5-inch flag. So maybe that is the reason that this 5-inch flag hits this airframe and creates the damage. But then I would say that normally the airplane is destroyed. If a 5-inch flag hit, then normally it's a kill. But anyway, I'm not so sure if this 20,000 are true. Or maybe this is really on purpose the wrong information. And the aircraft come much lower. I mean, bombing out of 20,000 feet would be very strange. Maybe for a B-17 that is okay, but not for a fighter bomber. Good, more sweeping over Rangoon. These troops are still on training, so they don't engage. And this is maybe the French destroyer. I think there's 1 or 2 French destroyers there. And I mean, on paper they're looking powerful. But of course, 1 or 2 destroyers have simply not enough impact on the game or on the war. Here are more reported Allied ships near Rangoon. Maybe KilRoy tried to bring in more reinforcements. more strikes out of 20,000, maybe. No bomb hits. And now my carriers striking, and the training missions will take part. Luckily I have here enough zeros, and after 2 or 3 sweeps of Rangoon there's also not many flying tigers left, and my zeros coming immediately behind these hurricanes. But they cannot kill for some reason. Hurricanes are really steady. Good, but not really much air cover more left, so I can make here this it's more or less a port aircraft strike, I think. Yeah, so the Kates going for port because they can carry this 800 kilogram armor piercing bombs, and the dive bombers going for airfield attack because they carry only 250 kilogram. So I damage the port and I damage the airbase. I can kill some aircraft on the ground. I lost also some of my dive bombers simply because they're going down, and then the light flag also can kill them. This is simply not to avoid. I was hoping to kill here now maybe some ships in port, but it looks like there is nothing, or I miss it. But at least I can destroy some aircraft and the base is damaged. And the last action is this AVP, small support ship for float plane tender, something like this, in Darwin, sinking. Now my cargo ships go down, the Durban. I'm not more sure if this is a ship gets the 100-pound bomb hit for last turn, or it was maybe damaged by coastal battery fire. Good. My tank's cleaning up the highway again. Now the Chinese surrender. Finally, now really every highway is open, so the supplies can flow. Now I make a shock attack, and there's not much really to defend.
Hello, you fighting orphans of the Pacific. This is your favorite enemy, Orphan Anne, at Radio Tokyo, with music to lift your spirits and words to depress your morale. But first, Imperial General Headquarters announced today that the ever-victorious forces of the Japanese Empire have captured Wake.
Yeah. So I catch here these Wildcats and Catalinas on the ground. Have some disabled units, but also can destroy this more or less only base forces, not much to fight. And my cruiser simply disabled most of the defenders already, or gives them high fatigue and disorder, so I can overcome the defense easily. So overall a successful day. My subs sunk some ships. Prince of Wales, Repulse are both dead now. Means there is no heavy units now in the east side of Australia. And Wake is of course not really a game changer, but a forward base in the Central Pacific the Japanese better have. So air losses in 40 to 15. Many Catalinas getting destroyed. Also Wildcats. plus a bunch of Russian aircraft and Flying Tigers. Again, if you add up this, the 40, no, this is Japanese, 20, 30, so you can see that these numbers are not matching to 40, and these numbers are true, and this is fog of war. So the numbers of Catalinas and Wildcats destroyed, I think, is not so high. But this I can really don't know. I mean, I will never know what is here true. I only know that I think these numbers are always true. So KilRoy lost 40 airframes, but what exactly is the combination? Hard to say. For me, it was my numbers are true. I lost 11 of my dive bombers, directly kill or later ops losses. And here, yeah, and one Oscar 1C and one Oscar B. No zero. So you can see that my port strike, there was normally no cap more left. It was only that my dive bombers simply suffer. And because Rangoon is full with British flag, I simply have a high losses on my dive bombers. But none of my Kates gets destroyed. So it is easy to understand that dive bomber attacks, if there's enemy flag, will always have a high casualty rate. Good. So ship sunk. Official is now the repulse dead. That is now true. I mean, really for sure. I lost my good cargo ship. And yeah, this cargo ship gets this 100-pound bomb hit and catch fire, and the Japanese was simply not able to get rid of it. Positive effect, I mean, the AVP is not so important here, it's a Dutch one. But getting here 2 Canadian corvettes early on, it's nice. I mean, it's really only for anti-submarine and convoy duty, but it's nice. Yeah. So in China, I was only able to open here this highway or main road, not that it's really highways. And the rest is still moving. In standard bombardment in China. The air battle over Rangoon will bleed out all British Air Force. There are still maybe 23 and 35 bombers, so there is still some amount of aircraft on the ground. But most of them, I mean, at least the fighter force, I think they are all more or less maybe disabled or damaged or not ready to operational. And I have higher numbers. I have normally 3 fighter wings ready in Bangkok. Now this is training squadron, but this is 42 plus 42 again. This one is a little burnt out down to 35 because I don't have this in backup airframe, so I will change them normally to 1Cs. And here's one more 40. So I have here maybe up 160 fighters, army fighters ready. And this is simply a high number. And KilRoy don't have enough airframes to really stop this. Even if we kill each other 1-to-1. And this is, I think, maybe the tactic. With the dojo game, with dojo game and KilRoy game, I more or less try this more aggressive air war earlier on to get the kills. And with the Jochen game, I was more passive and was hoping more for defense. Both can work. You can play with the Japanese, maybe the defense way in the air war to simply keep your elite pilots alive and waiting for the defense, but then you must still achieve your goals in some other way. But here in the KilRoy game and with the dojo game, I more or less try to sweep more aggressive and not even let the allies build up an air force. Yeah. And also, I think the big other mistake in the Jochen game was I was relying too heavily on Navy Air Force. And that is still not possible because the Navy Air Force have still not enough pilots normally to replace the losses. So using Army Air Force is maybe important to to keep the losses balance out between Navy and Army Air Force for the Japanese. But yeah, if we think everyone needs his own experience, and you can shift your tactics in your own way of strategy. So the British division is still here. It's getting smaller and smaller every day, maybe losing 500 guys. But this still needs some time. Nothing around Rabaul, Coral Sea. You can see I skipped so far shortlands, but sooner or later I also must build shortlands. And mine base also still not. I don't know more which. I think I build here one more base in the future, but we will see. The British forces now all escaped. The light cruisers, I was able to create one hit, but the rest escaped. So if KilRoy don't make this wrong click, then he maybe escaped with most of his ships, but still damage, and who knows. But now I was not able more to get a final blow. The tankers, these other ships are, I don't know, again, not under attack. Or I switch off my Air Force? No, I'm still on Navy attack. But they don't fly. So, no. And Central Pacific looks okay. Here is some task force. This is only some APDs, destroyers, some small light craft, American submarines, and I took Wake. Not that Wake have really any value. I mean, it is really only a small island. There is nothing on Wake really matters. Not for points, not for industry, not for base equipment. I mean, you cannot build here any big port. This is not a true port. So, it's really only a base somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. But you can put here some float planes and cover maybe the Central Pacific. It's a forward base against Midway, and later here on Pearl Harbor. We will see how aggressive KilRoy try to counter this, or but normally Marcus Island and Midway control the Middle Pacific. Then you have here the Marshall Islands is already Middle South Pacific, and there is nothing in the North Pacific. So this is why I have here my picking frontline boats to protect if there's anything coming directly for Japan. Yeah. Of course, these are only patrol boats. They cannot detect submarines, and cruisers and everything can also easily slip by. Or, I mean, it's not a 100% defense tactic, but it is at least something. Good. Thank you all. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.